Hello, I'm finally back with a tier list after a very long time of not doing any of these, and mainly the reason I've waited so long to do another tier list is simply because of the fact that this game has changed so much. If you haven't seen one of my most recent videos on the 43-page patch note that was released back in November, this game has changed significantly since then, and there's been lots of majors to show that. Between Platfight Gaming Championship, Heatwave, as well as the recent Hungry Games major bracket, there has been a lot of changes to this game, just through results, through players changing their mains, through just playstyles that we have not seen until very recently. So I've tried to hold my breath and wait and say, well, let me digest this, let me figure this out, because when I release a tier list, it kind of becomes the one everybody looks at. And I've put a lot of my own personal push and awareness to spreading that most recently posted joint tier list between a lot of the most top players and representatives of the game. I did have some influence in that as well. So if you want to see a tier list with a lot of people's brains behind it, definitely check out that one. But for now, let's check out my tier list. Right off the bat, we've got Rocksteady, of course. Rocksteady, definitely the worst character in the game. There's been some rumblings about a character that is worse than him, just matchup-wise and such. And Rocksteady, he's a character that just has a pretty solid zoning option tool. Like, he has just that barrel that you can angle and throw, and it basically is his neutral game. He also has a couple other things like his laser and his bombs that kind of hold down certain parts of stage and just have really good stage control. But at the end of the day, if you're a character that does not need to approach him, it becomes a game where he is zoning that just gets outzoned and he has to approach. If you're a short character like Beavers, Jimmy, Garfield, and Zim, good luck, dude. It's so easy for you. You're just going to run in there, go right underneath most of his hitboxes, and just combo him to hell. And that's something that he definitely struggles with, but he can slow you down or also kill you off the top with that down air strong. You can chain that together, and it's really unreliable, but when you do hit it properly, it does kill really quickly. So this character is a little weird. He does have some potential room for growth, but at the same time, he's just one of those characters that is kind of weird. He is being pushed though, so Maker, top Rocksteady, probably the best Rocksteady to do it at this current moment. There's other players that have pushed him in the past, like FPZ, who for a brief period had a really good Rocksteady, as well as others like Sansa. So there's definitely some Rocksteadies out there doing it. We just gotta see how far they can push this character. Next up on this list is none other than Reptar. Reptar, A-tier character, but definitely on the downswing in terms of just results, in terms of potential. Just seems like people are figuring out how to deal with this character more and more. And as well as with the head-to-head between Reptar and Rocksteady, starting to go in Rocksteady's favor a lot more as they figure out that character. It feels like more and more that this character, Reptar, is just going to be a struggle character. He's going to potentially be one of those bottom two characters. That doesn't mean he's not viable, though. Still has a lot of reps doing things like Meta Militia, who still does quite well in all of the events he enters, especially coming from the EU. So this game's netcode is good enough to where Meta can still compete, and there's basically no issues. There's not lag, there's not a weird feeling of input delay or anything like that. There's no server stutters. He just competes, you know. So we still, thankfully, because of these EU Reptar players, as well as some in the States, have plenty of good Reptar players at that top level who can show what he's capable of, but even they agree, yeah, this character is just not it. He does have some good combos with his dare loops from his dare to his up throw grab and to his up tilt up air combos, you know, as well as some good combos off of slime with slime dash snare, and then you got up throw up special into strong up air from that slime cancel. He has some good combos for sure, but it's just big body character in a game with some even bigger, smaller hurtbox size characters. So just it is what it is for him. He's weak. He's been around here for a while in this tier list, and I think he's going to stay here for the notable future. Next up is Ren and Stimpy. These two characters are just they are, I don't know how to describe it. These two are very much weaker characters, but they have plenty of strong attributes with them. It's interesting. They are very strong, just have very good combo game, decent advantage state, They have a lot of good combos. They're near the %. You know, they have a decent option with like their slime dashes from the snares. They have really strong back air, very good ledge control. But it's like as soon as you get them into disadvantage, ever since their hit stun gravity fall speed was nerfed, so now they are far less floaty when you combo them, making it very easy to combo them. Their disadvantage state is ass. Like it's bad. Especially now that they really don't have a vertical recovery option. Considering now that they get comboed, being off stage is even more detrimental to them when it already was like a pretty significant weakness of them. So it's just one of those things where you'll see like how they change, how they kind of adapt to it, and people still stand by the character saying, hey, they're capable of doing it, but it just seems like right now it's not in the cards for them. There's not very many people pushing them. I will say, however, Dan Listo did come back for Hunger Games and did quite well in that event. So top players of this character still capable of doing things that they already were doing, even with the changes. So I have a feeling if somebody like Blazing Pasta also decided to come back, or others who played this character significantly well, like Arachnite, who also did quite well at Frosty Faustings, I have a feeling that this character is doing just fine. The changes to them are really not as significant as people may think. And now that they're being comboed, yeah, they're going to die more. But the people that were doing good with them are still doing quite well. So we'll just have to see how it takes them and if this is true of their placement, or if over time their results will stay significant. The players who are playing them still think the same things about him. And we'll just have to see how other characters get pushed around. So for now, he is a bottom 3 character. Next on this list is Uncle Iroh, who, while he is the newest DLC character, ever since he got a bunch of changes nerfed to him, he definitely has fallen far on the tier list. If you've seen my last tier list, I said he was one of the best characters in the game. And the main thing is that a lot of things about him that were just completely overtuned got reined in to a fair and balanced amount. He's not the type of character that just has these frame 1 very long reaching options like he used to with the side special. Now that takes, I think, double digit frame wise, come out like 27 or something to fully get to the largest hitbox it can get to. And the startup on that definitely makes it far more punishable. This character is a bit lighter. He can't drift anymore with his strong air specials. And he's just not the same character he was, which was a nonsense character. Do the Fig is one of the best reps of this character and pushed him fairly hard in the Hunger Games. He did end up losing, getting upset to get by Dan Listo during that event, but at the end of the day, this character is still being developed. He's got a lot of weird stuff like his moonwalk floatiness that Do the Fig has popularized, but at the end of the day, he's still new. I think he's still very viable. He's somebody that is very weird and different compared to a lot of the cast, so in terms of what his meta is and what he's supposed to really do, I'd say at this point, even now, has still not really been discovered just yet. He still has a lot of tools, though, don't get me wrong. He still has like his up air into that slime dash, strong up air or down air, depending on how far you fall out. And that is a very dastardly combo. He still has that into his slime dash, into his strong neutral air. So he still has options off of that kind of like flowchart juggling option that you'll see with slime dashing. And he still has a lot of other tools that like his counter options that are still widely unexplored. Or at least we don't know the full potential of him just yet. So I'd say for this game, he definitely is the potential character of this game. Next up is none other than Garfield. Garfield is a character we've seen time and time again. He does well, he doesn't do well, he does well, he doesn't do well, and we have a couple of reps of them saying 2 different things. Connor J, who secondaries this character, and Keiki, who now plays this character full-time, both think that this character is widely underdeveloped and unexplored, whereas Garfield Fan 6, notably the best solo main of the character, says otherwise, and they think that the change that they got this most recent patch from November, their bear change, they made it less safe, as well as changed something about the auto-cancel frame data, which I can't remember off the top of my head. Basically means this character is patut, they're done, they're bad, it's over. They're a bottom tier character, which has not really been the most agreed upon consensus, I'd say. This character is definitely underplayed, I'd say. I think they have a lot of potential still. They're spacey, they have good projectiles, they have good spikes off their down strong air, they have really good combos when they're in that Sugar Rush state, with that Wave Shine becoming far more accessible and more possible on the entire cast. But at the same time, it makes them lighter and gives them a far more dangerous glass cannon look that other characters with installs just simply do not have to deal with, like Squidward, where he just gets it for free all the time. He doesn't have to build a meter or anything. Same thing with Iroh. He just sips the tea and also has a counter to stop people from punishing him for using his install. Garfield has none of those luxuries, which definitely makes interacting with his installation much more difficult. When you throw out your food attacks, you have to pick up the food. You don't even just get it granted to your meter like how Ember does with hers. She just has to hit moves and deal damage to gain both her slime and her install meter, or like final touch, if you will. And that definitely makes him a bit more difficult to play when your best options are locked behind that install option. So it's definitely a difficult scenario to be in if you're Garfield. He's kind of just weak here. He's definitely viable. How viable is remain to be seen. But for now, we will say he's here on the tier list. Next up on this list is none other than Zuko. Zuko is another character that has just exploded in usage recently, with Solvay, as well as Midi being two very notable reps with this character. Solvay almost taking a set on Alpha Stone early on in the Hunger Games was a sight to behold, and Midi, who has been recently doing his famous NASB2 Nuzlocks, where in mid-bracket, he will only play a character until he loses with them. Then they are gone for good. His most used character that he tends to not lose the least with is Zuko, which is crazy. We've seen so many new combos with this character, like his up airs into his slime cancel Falcon Punch combos, which is crazy to see a move as slow as that actually have some crazy utilization. It's a very strong powerhouse move that, with the addition of slime, actually makes it a viable option in competitive play, which is insane. This character has a lackluster-esque recovery, so in matchups with strong spikes, like Reptar, Plankton, and others that just get him too far away from the stage, he definitely struggles disadvantage side, but he is still an extremely strong burst-heavy character with one of the fastest, longest dash attacks in the game, some really good disjoint aerials with his forward air and strong neutral air with his sword, as well as good item play with the sword throwing that he can do with those options. This character is insane, very underused, very underplayed, but those who play it come out to show what they can do, and this character is a fun-ass character to watch. Next up is SpongeBob. This character, definitely a character that has plenty of representation between Sir Sunky, myself, and others. Sussy Sponge, all doing God's work with this character. Revelo recently coming back to the Hunger Games, also doing very well in that bracket, I believe taking 17th, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's a little lower. That was 17th. I couldn't remember off the top of my head, but definitely plenty of good SpongeBobs doing very well with this character. Very strong character with a lot of juggle combos, a lot of good options off of Slime Dash, a lot of good EX options. Character has a okay recovery, but with Slime it's much better, and as obnoxious as this character is, and as hard as it is to admit, he is also rather stubby. So if you have giant disjoints or you zone very well, this character definitely does have some trouble getting in on those characters as well as keeping the combos going. But when he does get to touch you, it's lights out. That's as simple as that. He's a very strong character in those situations, and he's very flexible in that options, you know, like being in disadvantage, he has options to escape. In advantage state, he has options to keep it going. But overall, he's just a character that is good at everything but master of nothing. That's just where he is in the current meta. Finally, for this tier, we've got Grandma Gertie. Definitely nerfed from her previous iterations, this character is still an explosive powerhouse with a strong knee, a lot of strong edge guarding opportunities, crazy item play, as well as an up air head game that is extremely strong. But this character generally has some pretty big weaknesses, I'd say now, especially with her disadvantage state, as well as her just general ability to survive. This character's nerfs to her recovery and weight make her very easily a killable target, as well as a character that generally struggles to make it back without extreme slime usage. She used to be a slime burner in the sense that she'd always want to be using slime for slime dashes and cancels to continue her very long advantage state combos, whereas now she has to be far more conservative with her slime, hoping to make sure she saves an extra bar if she wants to go very deep. Otherwise, if she gets half stage, or is just too strong in going out into the blast zone, without the use of an EX option like a dash or an up special, she is most certainly going to die due to her tether's lackluster distance, horizontally or vertically. Which is a huge change from how it used to be, where she'd constantly always be able to make it back from basically any portion on the screen she was visible in. Definitely a weakness, and definitely you've seen this character's results plummet do this, as players try to recoup and figure out what they need to change in order for them to make it back in time. But we'll have to just wait and see how this character survives going through the meta forward. She's still a strong character. She still has good frame data. She still has winning matchups. It's just that now she actually has very exploitable weaknesses, making her more of the intended Grandma Glass Cannon, where she's extremely strong, but when she gets hit hard. Finally, moving up to A+ tier, and there's a lot of characters in this tier. I think there's a lot of very strong characters in this game, and so many of them are extremely viable now. And we're going to see one right now with Patrick. Patrick, Backshot Billy, whatever you want to call this character, is an insane character, very scary to deal with, and a character that just generally is strong and strong and strong, and seems to be getting stronger over time. Scooter Dupes, Bread, and plenty of others have been proving that this character has what it takes to compete at the highest levels of this game, and it, funny enough, is one of the best SpongeBob characters in the game, meaning that so far, SpongeBob is actually the worst SpongeBob character in NASB2, which is crazy to say. So I'd say so far, this character has very strong grab game, a very extremely rewarding dash attack that is really good at 2-framing, punishing people for trying to grab ledge, as well as has a light up air that is really good at anti-zoning or stopping aerial approaches when his grounded game is also extremely strong. This character does have weaknesses, with his up special being very easy to exploit, and his big body nature does mean he does get comboed quite well, but it doesn't mean the character is without weaknesses. It's hard to zone him, as his lariat does reflect projectiles as well as his strongs do. He is extremely hard hitting and has an insane amount of combo gain off of that, as well as gigantic hitboxes like his strong multi-hit, strong up air, and he's just generally a very good character. He does have a lot of weaknesses, of course, and the meta definitely makes it difficult for him to compete, but not impossible, as he's all the way up here in A+ tier. Next up is April. April O'Neil used to be piloted by none other than Thunder's Reign and Tofu, but Tofu's taking a long extended break from this character, and we have seen Zafro also pick up the reins with this character, and definitely is the best active April by far. Definitely a strong contender and compete at Platfight as well as other events recently. And this character definitely has what it takes to compete. Has a very strong neutral air, has very good combos into their forward air and strong neutral air, has some back air drag downs into their strong up strong combos, and generally has some good zoning options with their camera as well. But where this character struggles is definitely their recovery, as well as hitting shorter characters, with their nair being a very strong combo to land with. But when you are facing at shorter characters like Beaver, Zim, Jimmy, and the like, it's very hard to hit a character with that falling move when you actually have to go further down into the ground to hit them, making you far more exploitable as you try to land. She's also tall, which means that she's actually able to be comboed quite easily without the cast, but she just also struggles with that up special because it is a fuel-based recovery option, meaning that her risk reward and getting back is completely dependent on if she has slime or fuel left in the up special to make it back fully. So it's one of those characters where we've seen her kind of stick around up here. She's definitely not a bad character by any means, and she definitely has very high peaks, especially with like some of her more overtuned moves, like that down strong and some other moves that are just really, really strong. But I'd say generally this is like where she's at for now, and people tend to agree that she might be even a little lower than this at the same time. She's still very good in my opinion. We just need somebody to really push her hard at the top level who really sticks with her. And Zafro is definitely one of those people that is able to do it, but we just need a couple more reps to really maybe show some new stuff with her, if you will. Next up on this tier list is Mr. Nigel Thornberry. This dude is a powerhouse that, thanks to PugX, has proven that he is a good character. There hasn't been many changes to this character overall, but just the small things that they did change, like being able to slime cancel your pound or your rest off whiff, makes it so that this character actually has ways to get out of their mistakes. Back air has proven to be a very strong straight hit killing move that many characters just simply don't have in this game, and with Nigel having that option to just kind of fade in and fade out with his excellent aerial acceleration and movement speed, as well as his multi-jumps, means that he kind of can just hang out in the air and just fish for that back air and up air juggle tools that just make it so easy to start combos, finish combos, as well as slime dash into them, or other things like his strong neutral air and strong up air, and just light up air again to just finish off combos. Not to mention you can also slime dash into that rest into that side special, into rest, into another up air, or just so many of his other options. And he's just a very strong character. X has proven that he's able to do it with this character at Heatwave, placing second, at Platfight Gaming Championship, placing fourth in the top 8, as well as once again doing that at the Hunger Games. This character is just a strong character, and he's definitely capable of doing so much more. He's definitely a tough character to learn and very much anti-meta, but once you get him in the right hands, as we've seen with X, he is definitely capable of making it up there with these better characters, because he is one. Another strong character with Raph, who just recently won their first ever major. Thunder's Reign has been pushing and pushing and pushing this character, and people think he's a lot better than he truly may be shown on this tier list, but I think A+ is the perfect spot for him. And generally, I think the reason he is so good is simply just because of his consistency. This character has a lot of good up throw into back air, up throw into fair combos. His moves work as intended a lot more consistently now. And yes, you'll have the occasional flub with like his multi-hit combos not working as consistently. But generally, we've seen the play from Thunder's Reign of just doing up throw into whatever works. You have stuff of DI in, DI out, with up throw into back air being a really good starter combo at low percents. That up throw forward air into or just up air juggling combos. Just everything he does works. It works a lot. So he's just a character that just does not really struggle. He's got good kill confirms. He's got that something in the sup air combo. He's got fair into snare. He's got fair into slime dash fair. Like, he's got so many good, just simple options that are just single hit, works, and if you don't get it, you get something else type moves. And he's just a good character at that. Consistency is very tough in Nickelodeon, also a Brawl 2, but when you have a character that's completely designed around a kit and a moveset and a playstyle that's consistency, especially the way Thunder's Reign does it, this character is going to keep going up on the tier list, man. He's one of the fastest in the game. He has some really good projectiles, some really good movement, some really good moves. He's got monkey flip. He's got swap air as a different recovery option. He's got one of the best recoveries, one of the most flexible recoveries in the game. His uses of slime with EX options are very strong and useful, or just generally very expressive. So you have a lot of flexibility in the way you can play this character. And that combined with good consistency makes you a very strong character. He's definitely going up more on tier lists. Between Fiction and so many others, we've got Korra next. Very strong character, very consistent character. Chiptune, the best to ever do it with this character, has been proving time and time again that this character is extremely viable. Lots of combo game, lots of juggle game, lots of good projectiles, and one of the characters I'd say that has the most amount of tools for any given situation. This character has options that stop and completely negate zoning options, like Goddard, Gur, and Spunky. This character has ice to let them zoom across the stage quicker. This character has weird momentum options. This character has JC cancelable rising hitboxes on the ground. This character has it all. And it's no shock to me that this character is still doing quite well in the meta. A+ tier character. What more is there to say? Chiptune just makes this character work. They've been teaching Fiction the ropes on this character, and Fiction has been proving time and time again that a top player from another game that moves into this one can absolutely make it work. Korra is a very strong option, and if you'd like to learn Korra, there's a whole guide that Chiptune has learned, and I will have in the description of this video because we need more of this character. She is so fucking cool. I love this character. Definitely deserves this higher tier spot. Next up is Jenny. Jenny, definitely a strong all-rounder. More on the defensive side, especially with how Mador plays the character, and being the best Jenny has proven that that seems to be the best way to play the character. We've seen more aggressive Jennies like Scooter Dupes actually drop the character in favor of simpler, more aggressive characters like Patrick Star, and it makes sense. This character is kind of like the opposite of SpongeBob. Has a lot more strong turtle-esque options for their all-roundedness. They have a strong recovery, good ways to float back, a lot of ways to mix up, but not a lot of ways to approach. They definitely can approach. I'm not saying that they can, I'm just saying that you can see it in the way that they move and the way that they fight. Like back air is a really good option, but it's not very good at approaching, and it's, even though it's big, right, it's just difficult to do that with. It has a very good get off mini move with that frame 3 nair that is ridiculous. Has a really good up tilt, has a really good down air for crossing up and multi-hit wise, as well as just the landing hitbox as well, making it very hard to punish, if not impossible. Very good missile combos, very good zoning options, very good projectiles in general. And this character has just very easy time just being defensive and fighting through. Definitely have seen Matter struggle more and more as the meta has progressed, with this aggression coming from some of these top tiers, as well as Jenny just struggling a bit more as people abuse and manipulate her few weaknesses that she does have, as well as her nerf making her lighter and making her fuel maximum far less, meaning that she actually can be edgeguarded fairly easily now. Next up is Mr. Krabs, with Devin Swamps being the best solo Krabs, but Midi and others still picking up the character pretty frequently. We've seen that this character is definitely very strong, definitely very agile, but still, again, takes a lot of time to get going. Their nerf to their grab making it way longer to have startup, I think it went from frame 5 to frame 7, making it far more difficult to just throw out in neutral and not be punished for, means that this character can no longer just get that free grab into the free money. He used to get this thing where he'd grab you and then do like down special to get that free gold bar, meaning he already starts at level 2. And, he just can't get that anymore. He still is very good at racking up money when you're being very efficient, but in certain matchups he definitely struggles a lot more. And he used to be, I'd say, like very much an easy top 7 or higher character, especially with like some of his combos off of that side special. But with those nerfs that it's gotten on block, where now you can't continue the side special on block, it makes it far easier to punish him, as well as just makes that far less threatening of an option, since it's just shield, He's still a strong character for sure, and we've seen the changes that have gone into adapting to the new Krabs meta from these Crab players, but we'll have to just see where he's able to settle at as time goes on. Lucy Loud is up next, and she's been a rising star for sure. We saw Pokemon Red do quite well with her at Frosty Faustings. We've seen a couple of players do quite well with her online during the Hunger Games and other events. Zune, Kiwingli, to name a few. Keiki before they switched. Very many good Lucy Loud players, and it seems like more and more are popping up every day. This character is crazy. This character has insane options in the air. Ghost mode is so good, it's so fast. You can do a lot of fair combos into that bite for the kill confirm. You have good slime dash combos into snare. Your down air strong is just hilarious and weird. The fact you can just bounce multiple times on somebody into a combo move, it's crazy. She's very much unexplored, and I think that the more and more people explore her, the more people realize she's kind of a hidden threat to this game. Sorry, Hungrybox, but she is definitely a good character, and I think as the meta progresses, she's only going to be better as time goes on. The next character on this list is none other than Donnie. Donnie has proven time and time again, as more and more people realize after Hyper Crasher's big win at Frosty Faustings, that this character is a menace. This character is insane. So we'll definitely see this character more as time goes on. We've seen Muskie pick them up. We've seen Connor J pick them up. We've seen so many other players as well pick them up. But Hyper Crasher definitely the premier Donatello if you're looking for VODs. Hyper Crasher winning Frosty Faustings, doing quite well at Combo Breaker, has proven time and time again that this character is possible to make big waves with, and he has a lot of weird technique with momentum cancels off of slime and smoke bomb combos and just wave balling. He has so many combos. Very good juggling options, very good kill confirms off of up B into strong up air. One of the most oppressive combos in the game for sure, for kill confirms that is. And he just has lots of large distorts that are hard to contest in some situations. So this character for sure has weaknesses, with his recovery being lackluster without the smoke ball, as well as very simple ways to challenge him just off stage, hitting him before he throws out the up special, or after, since he's just in all of that landing leg. And if you break the smoke ball, he just has to grab ledge, which is difficult for him already, as he doesn't just snap to it. So definitely a strong character with some strong weaknesses as well. So we'll just have to see what happens as time goes on. Ember McLean. She's a very, very, very strong character that Nintunis, the best player in the world at, has proven time and time again that she's very, very good. She's a character that has very good juggle game, probably some of the best in the entire series, with her insanely large disjointed options, doing just that, juggling you until you die off the top. She has an insane reward off of slime canceling, which is actually not usually the case for a lot of characters in this game. Usually slime canceling is very much not favored compared to slime dashing. But with her, she has slime canceled into up air, into that up special slime cancel, into another light up air to kill off the top, and it works fairly consistently across the cast depending on DI, but it's just one of those combos that just works extremely well, and is a combo that just seems like her new tried and true. If you have a stage with a short top lesson like Rooftop Rumble and other stages like it, like Trumberton, like Technodrome, you're going to be carried off the top, or like Irkin, or like Jelly, if you have those platform extensions, you know? You're going to be seeing those deaths off the top. Pariah's Keep, another one, short ceiling. So this character definitely loves short ceilings. They definitely like short side blast zones as well with the snare combo trains. But it's just hard to say where this character will end up. She seems like recovering is no longer as big of a weakness as it used to be, and she only continues to rise. So we'll have to see where she ends up in the meta. And the final character, another one, big potential, Zim. This character has only been getting more and more explored, and part of the reason why this video has taken so long to produce, tier list wise, is just because this character just gets better and better with each passing day. More tech gets discovered, more playstyles get discovered. Zing Zang Zim, as we've been calling him now, has a pocket Zim, or a secondary Zim more so, that when it comes out, oh god, you know it's going to be lights out for you. We've seen some characters really struggle against this character with their strong up air that is really hard to contest as a zoning option, as well as just as a general advantage state tool. Their strong neutral air is extremely strong on hit and can kill extremely early percents, earlier than maybe any of the characters in this game can off of snare combos, which is crazy to say. Considering at the end of the day he is a zoner, having Gur to pull you and fight you out when you're in hit stun is extremely broken, and a tool no other character in the game has except when using burst. So this character essentially has a little mobile burst option that can always get you out of combos if Gur is positioned correctly, and you can also use that EX Gur option to give him even more health to leave him on the stage even longer. With pristine Gur control, as well as just some other options, this character could go even higher on the tier list, but he does have some bugs and some inconsistencies that make him troublesome to deal with. But at the end of the day, we've seen Zoom win tournaments with this character regularly, so he definitely is up there with some of the other characters on this list. Next up on this list, we're in S tier, S-, that is, with Squidward. Squidward, a very strong character that has seen some nerfs to his playstyle, and his neutral game is definitely a lot harder now. He's almost like just a zero-to-death machine who just, if he touches you, it can mean lights out for your stock, but if he doesn't touch you, then that means that it's because you're either zoning him out, have large hitboxes, or just generally avoiding his grabs. When this character, Squidward, gets that up throw, it's usually lights out for you. If he has slime, you can do a 1 in 3 chance with EX side special to just instantly kill you off of Bold and Brash. But it's not as easy as you'd think. You still have to follow the DI, and while it is pretty clean and easy to get, it's one of those options that you have to allow Squidward to get in. He has a very bad neutral game, and we've seen as time has gone on that neutral in this game has been more and more prevalent, as everybody is aware of when you get grabbed, when you get touched by a character starter, you are going to die at the top level. People are going to find ways to kill you. So having the awareness of just avoiding Squidward and abusing the fact that his weaknesses in neutral are so strong has made for him to have a much harder difficulty at the top level, where he used to be like a top 5 character in a lot of people's eyes. He's definitely starting to fall off a bit at the top level. Another character where this is definitely true of is Plankton. Plankton, a character very much degenerate to deal with, definitely annoying to deal with for sure, but a character that's also extremely big and very exploitable in disadvantage. We'll have to see where he develops as well, with Shershay doing quite well with this character at Platfight and Battle Blimp this year, but we'll have to see as this new season, this new year-long PR season for NASB2 develops. We'll have to see where the top 50 end up. A Fluffy Teddy Bear has been one of the best active Planktons recently in the States, and we'll have to see how they improve over time has gone on, but they're doing quite well. Plankton was represented in Battle Blimp and in the recent Hunger Games somewhat well, but no one made it into the top 8 with this character, and we're starting to see results of him kind of fall off as the top level has become far more punish heavy. Big characters are just hard to deal with, as they have a much more difficult time in disadvantage compared to smaller characters, which in this game is definitely a running theme. Next up on this list is Gerald, and he's a character that, a very explosive character, but he lost a lot of what made him insane in the latest update. His dash attack no longer combos into itself, which was crazy, And he has still a couple other things about him that were always exploitable, like his grab, like his recovery. It was always fairly strong, but at the same time fairly exploitable. We've seen top players like Murgas and Maker kind of switch off their characters, with Murgas up until very recently playing Norbert from Angry Beavers very extensively. And we've just only recently seen them come back to Gerald. So it's interesting. We're seeing kind of like a sway of like confidence in him and how we're seeing it kind of come back. And the playstyles definitely have changed quite a bit from more of that zoning-esque with the clocks, especially now that you only get 3 instead of 5 per stock, making it far more of a risk-reward scenario if you miss or if you mess up your combo game. So you don't just get to see that anymore. He's definitely a character that we haven't seen a lot of so far this patch either, so he definitely has some strong tools. The light up air is still very strong at juggling and at platform pressure when you're below them. So he definitely has some very strong attributes, but we'll have to see how far he can be taken in this current meta, because there's definitely going to be changes to him as time goes on, just from player changes alone, or if any new patches come to change him again. Next up is El Tigre. El Tigre, a combo machine still, definitely very good at comboing characters, definitely a bit of a hidden boss for sure. We've seen Muskie and others use this character quite extensively, as well as just generally seeing this character do very well when the combo game is at its highest. Those strong up air, those up air and up special combos are still extremely strong to kill off the top, but the character's strong neutral air has seen better days as the patch made it a bit easier to fall out of, a bit easier to escape, as well as trade with your own disjointed hitboxes. Character is definitely a strong contender, but still struggles somewhat versus the stronger zoners in the game like Jimmy and Rocco, and definitely struggles a bit more against characters that can avoid his combo starters and combo game, but is still a touch of death machine once he gets his hands on you, and his neutral and run speed make it far easier to do than Squidward, even though they're all within the same tier. His light weight and size make it a bit more difficult to move around with his gigantic head hitbox, making him far larger than other characters as short as he is. So his light weight is definitely a factor in making him lower on the tier list than maybe other characters in this list would be. So we'll have to see how far he goes. Maybe Sego and someone else will come back to push him more extensively at the top level of play, but we just don't have that right now. We don't have a top player that's pushing them and consistently competing, and we'll have moments of brilliance from players like Muskie for sure, but nobody that's always there to remind us about how fucked up this character is, because he definitely has that capability, but it's just, will he and will somebody do it? So if you want to be that change, I recommend you do it. Next up is Rocco. Rocco, the first character in S tier, definitely a strong character, strong zoning options, but definitely has a bit more weaknesses now in the latest patch. But that doesn't mean he's bad. Of course, he's in like the top 6 of best characters in the game, and he's definitely one of the best characters in it. Short character, very strong anti-airs, very strong juggling options with that light up air, very good projectiles and Spunky and Jackhammer to take up space, good ways to combo into those projectiles with F-tilt and jab and down tilt. Snare is still as strong as ever, F-strong is still as strong as ever. Those moves are just nuts. His recovery is a little bit worse and definitely his weakest attribute, as he's able to be ledge-hogged and edge-guarded quite consistently. And his short size definitely makes it, or his short weight definitely makes it easy for him to be killed off the sides or the top if you get a good combo going on him. But generally, FPZ still doing quite well with this character, still doing quite well at the Hunger Games in that top 8, still doing quite well at Plat Fight in that top 8, still doing quite well at the Battle Book in that top 8. This dude competes and does well basically at any event he does, and Rocco is always there right next to him. So definitely a strong character, does not seem to be leaving the meta anytime soon. Next up is none other than the Jimbo. Jimmy Neutron, Senpak, go together like jelly and jam. Or peanut butter and jelly, I don't know. Whatever. But anyways, what I do know is that this big brain blaster does very well in this meta. Very strong combos, very strong aggression, very strong defense, very strong recovery, very strong overall. He's got a lot of good Ferris train combos, he's got good setups with Goddard, he's got a lot of good zoning options with his blaster, with his missile, with just Goddard, you know? He's got so much. He's got so many things, and that makes him difficult to say how good or bad he is in this top 5. He could easily just be the best character in the game, because we could discover a setup with him that it works on everybody, right? We haven't yet, but I'm not saying it couldn't happen. He still has like the double dare stuff. Slime dash with him is still relatively unexplored, but still also fairly developed in certain ways. He's got so much going for him. But at the same time, there are other characters that just have so much more. It's so weird. It's such an odd place to be. Jimmy is such a strong character, but at the same time has certain weaknesses like his weight, like his easy to hit recovery. But at the same time, those weaknesses are also strengths because the character is somewhat short. He has very good anti-air opportunities with his up tilt and other options, as well as his recovery being very easy to move with. So while there's no hitbox on it, he also is just very exploitable. He's such an odd, chaotic character, for sure. So, and speaking of Jimmy, if you haven't seen Quote's recent Jimmy video, the documentary of Jimmy, definitely want to check it out. Cause shout out to Tyler, because that bastard definitely made this character so much more explosive and cool, thanks to his efforts. Next up on this list, we have Aang. Aang is a character that is just extremely strong in the meta right now. He's just an extremely strong character that doesn't have a lot of representation, so I think for a lot of people, seeing him this high on the list would definitely be surprising. But his forward air, his light up air are two of the best aerials in the entire game. They're extremely good at comboing, and his neutral air is still a good option that you can still use to carry people off the side. And while you can SDI it, and it is not the greatest option, it still is decent at crossing up, and it still is another option in this kid's arsenal that makes him extremely strong. Needling and needle campling are still extremely strong options that are really hard to contest for a lot of characters in this game. He still has an extremely strong slime dash into up special combo off the side with like Fair. Fair is still just an extremely strong option that you can use to train people off the side of the stage, and this character just excels at edge guarding. And he's a bit unwieldy, so I don't think he's like the easiest pick up and play character. But if you understand what he's going for with like his up throws, his up tilts, down tilts into those up air juggle scenarios, into those fairs off the side, he has so much more basic stuff that you'd not really expect. Like you can literally just do fair, slime dash, fair, and just kill. Like his character's insane. So definitely a top 5 character for sure, top 4 character for sure. But he's definitely one that people forget and is not on the radar for a lot of people. Now for the top 3 characters. Angry Beavers. Norbert is a menace to society, and we need to do something about it. Unfortunately, there's nothing we are going to be able to do about it because players like Murgos and Locust definitely use this character to his fullest. Down throw is an insane loop that without platforms to escape to at those lower percents, you'll always get chain grabbed into the next one. Fair is a strong disjointed aerial with very low end lag, meaning that it is very hard to contest, but not impossible, just basically impossible. This character has a very mean strong up air that can kill off the top, combo to itself, as well as the up special momentum cancel, slime cancel glitch that basically lets you zoop up to the top blast zone after hitting somebody with a first strong up air. So you can do strong up air, up special slime cancel at the beginning of it to just fly all the way up to the blast zone's top and kill somebody off the top with that strong up air. And while it isn't like completely true and it's all execution based and people do mess it up, it's still an extremely strong option to deal with versus the Angry Beavers. And not only that with Norbert, but you also have Daggett they can switch into at any time. Especially with recent labbing developments from Jafar, we've seen that this character is only going to have more time to be developed and figured out as time goes on, and is definitely one of the best characters in the game. Not only thanks to his fundamental juggling tools, edge guarding abilities, and Locust's recent developments with Fair into Slime Dash, DI check into Fair again, but this character just has it all. He's got good recovery, good swap abilities, good item play, good disjoints, good fast frame data, small size, and really good ways to edge guard and kill confirm at basically any percent on any character. Definitely can go toe-to-toe with Azula or Danny, with Locust also defeating Zing Zang Zoom in the Hunger Games recently, as well as defeating Alpha Stone in other events as well. But this character can just do it all. He's a very strong character. So we'll have to see what Locust and other top Beavers do as time develops. And we all know what's coming next. Azula for number 2. Azula, very strong character, still has jab down strong. Alpha Stone still has the Alpha Stone with that talent lightning combo he gets off of EX down special. This character has one of the strongest nair into grab combos in the game, getting a lot of damage off of that, either from the pummel or just from the up throw into the up air, into the snare, or the strong up air, to just continually rack up or get kill confirms off of. You can even get kills off of just light up air juggling. With the amount of hit stun it has, it's easy to check the DI and just continue a combo into the blast zone, either off the top or the side, depending on if they DI in or out. On out, you can get that strong fair or the light forward air, and it's just a crazy amount of options you get off this character. Alpha Sun has proven time and time again that this character is definitely a top, at least top 3 character, definitely top 2 character in my book. And this character is only going to get better with time as the more advanced combo routes get more and more explored, as they become more and more necessary, as the counterplay to at least the basic stuff gets more and more understood. This character is super strong, super punishing, and extremely insane, but it's still not unbeatable, as they do have a very weak recovery that with EX does make it better, but they do have a very easy to hit hurtbox on them, since it's just the body hitbox that you have to avoid from the fire, and this character is definitely exploitable. So, at the same vein, they're extremely strong, extremely overpowered, definitely overtuned a little bit, but at the same time, they have weaknesses, which is crazy to say about a top 2 character in the game. And I definitely would say that's true about all these characters. They all are definitely edge guardable in some way, shape, or form. And yeah, that's definitely Azula. She's a strong character, strong juggling, strong kill confirm, strong options on basically the entire cast that work consistently, and she's just fundamentally strong. And that leaves us with none other than the Phantom. Danny Phantom, very strong character. Very, very strong indeed. And this character is definitely one of the most menacing in the game. Very strong kill confirms, very strong edge guarding. Strong down air is just insane. Forward air is just insane. Neutral air is just insane. He's got strong everything, man. He's hard to hit. He's hard to combo. Hard to keep down. He's a light character, but also is extremely hard to kill, just because of his strong recovery options and ability to rack up slime so much because of his damaging combos, but at the same time, he's not unbeatable. I've said it time and time again, he's not unbeatable, guys. And we've seen that. We've seen Locust get upsets on him, so that's Beavers. We've seen Raph do it. Freaking Raph, look how far down he is on the tier list. You can't even see him. He's just so low. It's an A tier character, you know? He's like a high tier. And yes, maybe he's better, but at the same time, we've seen it. We've seen it possible. We've seen it multiple times possible. So definitely don't lose hope. I think any character in this game is viable. And Danny Phantom definitely is a strong character, definitely the best in the game. I think everybody agrees unanimously that this character is number 1. Their only way that this changes is if either a Battle patch that just kills this character, which I think personally is impossible. This character is just so good. You have to basically destroy him, like remove him from the roster practically, from him to not be in the top tier, at least. He's a very strong character, and we'll just have to see how the meta progresses, man. I don't think that he's going to get much better. I don't think there's much more for you to discover on this character, but there's definitely a lot of things like Slime we've seen recently, like the tech chasing using Super to just get a free kill confirm off of with Zing Zing Zoom. That's very basic stuff. More characters could do that. That's not like a Danny specific thing. Everyone has a move that can throw onto a platform, you know. More Danny specific stuff has already been being used with like down air strong edge guarding or side special to slime dash snare, you know, stuff like that. Like there's not a lot of stuff that Danny's aren't already doing that is broken, right? Down special, we all know what it does. Neutral special, we all know what it does. It's really good versus zoning. It's really good as a zoning option. It's Wolf Blaster, you know. It's a very strong move with a hitbox on the hand. So it's a really strong, really good option, and Danny is that already. So we'll just have to see what happens. And overall, this game is extremely balanced. Even Zing Zing Zoom says Rocksteady can do very good damage against Danny Phantom players. He thinks that the matchup isn't as bad as people think it is, even though that might be kind of crazy. I trusted his judgment on that. I think that that is understandable. Obviously, he loses the matchup, but it's not as bad as you might think, especially considering there's like 3 tiers in this game. And yes, there is like A+ and S-, but like realistically, just merge them together and you'll see like kind of just the differences in the characters' tier gaps and whatnot. But still, game is extremely balanced. If the balance patches somehow miraculously stopped coming, I think that this game is in a very healthy state right now, and everybody is completely viable. We've seen Rocksteady's get in the top 8. We've seen Rocksteady's win tournaments. We've seen Raph win tournaments. We've seen Danny win tournaments. We've seen every tier of character win a tournament. I don't think there's a character that has yet to win a tournament in this game. Major-wise, definitely so, as there's only been so many majors. But we're going to have more majors this year. We have 6 majors this year, with the next one being Combo Breaker in May. And then in August, we have Pressure Point in Canada. So definitely sign up for those, and I'm sure there will be others to fill in the gaps as well. But if you're interested in what's coming next for NASB, definitely check out some of the other videos that other creators have made. But tournament-wise, that's what we've got next. So thanks for watching. I hope that this was a quick and easy to watch video on the current state of NASB2's meta. But if you're curious for more, I'm definitely going to be releasing more tier lists regardless of if we get more patches or not. If this is the last one, so be it. I think the game lives forever. If we get more patches, even better, because that just means the game will become even healthier. More bugs that exist will be fixed. Not that there's many like super killer ones out there anyways. Like there is some, sure, but every game has got bugs, so whatever. But enough of my rambling. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you all in the next one.